What's happening, everybody? I'm back as your resident supervillain, Mr. J. Washington, and I'm here with my review for Season 4, Episode 2 of Black Lightning on the CW. Now, if you have not seen this episode yet, come on back, because there will be spoilers. I am pissed. I am actually redoing this again. I did it before, and the part that says Season 4, Episode 2 review was all across here in my forehead region. I was like, yeah, that's a thing. That's a thing that's happening. I think I'm going to condense what I talked about before, and let's get down to it. Gamby out here trying to get him some, but also get some information. Him meeting up with Lauren Caruso from Monta Vista International after finding out that she is going to be who is supplying the police with their new DEGs, as told by Chief Lopez in her message broadcast she was giving to the entire police. Look, Gamby deserves to get some. Gamby deserves to have a love life. Now, I know he said throughout the entire series that Gamby has devoted his life basically to the Pierces and to Freeland, but Gamby deserves to have a life. Hashtag let Gamby get some. Start that on social media. Hashtag let Gamby get some. Tobias and Jefferson have a face-to-face after Jefferson comes out to school late in the evening, which I thought was kind of weird because I was like, okay, maybe, yeah, Jefferson's the principal, he'd be staying late. And then Jefferson instantly goes and shocks Tobias, but Tobias says, don't blow your cover, dummy. And the fact that there's still other faculty members there. Now, this brings up the question to me. With all that Freeland has been through, an ASA occupation, a Markovian Warren threat, and so much more, with the violence that Garfield has had it happen within itself, Khalil Payne before he was Painkiller, amongst other things, you would think that not only since they implemented metal detectors, there are security cameras, not just inside, but outside the school. I know it's a small little nitpicking thing, but it's something I picked up on. Maybe you will. I also have a big issue with a lot of things. One of the things I feel like that's happening, and I may be wrong in this, is that there seems to be a lot of foreshadowing of characters' futures. We know that this is the last season and the last episodes, but the way Jefferson is running reckless and not using the suit, of course we're going to see him in the suit, he's Black Lightning, but the using his powers without the suit draining him and making him pass out, as we saw on the porch in the beginning of the scene, and going after people in his own vigilante-esque feelings, the way Lynn is out here trying to be meta mommy, protecting her babies, but at the same time being a superhero in her own right. We already know that China Anne McClain, aka Jennifer Pierce, who got brand new hair color, is gone, like episode 6 or so. And so I wonder if it's foreshadowing the death of many members in the Pierce family, and what we see at the end will be possibly Anissa with a finally waking up Grace out of a coma, living happily ever after. I don't know. It could be just guessing, my own 2 cents. I also want to make sure I take a moment to address some of the comments from the last video, and more specifically, comments that said, thank you for being one of the only people I've seen reviewing this show. And they don't know why, because people will review all the other shows, but they won't do this one. I think you know why. And I know some people will say, well, Jay, Luke Cage is a black show. People review that. It's easier to review Luke Cage when you knew it was tied directly into Jessica Jones. You knew it was going to give you the Defenders. It was easy to watch that because you wanted to see the tie-ins. Whereas with this one, with the subject matter, if you will, it is heavily based in the black experience and black dramas and black family dynamics, et cetera, et cetera. And so a lot of people some may feel uncomfortable about that. And so therefore they don't watch it. And I guess I get it. I want to talk about the therapy that we see. We see now Lynn and Jeff are going to see Dr. Boland separately. And that's interesting because, again, last week I talked about the therapy they're going to, and I like the fact that we're bringing it up because it is a taboo subject in black households. Yes, I know in 2021, as people will say, we're in a different day and age where more people are openly talking about their going to therapy, but it took a very long time for that. And yes, it can be portrayed in TV characters, but not to the way we're seeing it. We see a black woman, a black wife, a black mother talk about she has no friends, she has no hobbies. Her whole hobbies have been her career and her family. And basically how the doctor is like, she needs to explore that, figuring out who she is. And of course, you got Lynn out here shooting up super heroin, if you will, with a big ass briefcase of it in the front room. I was like, okay, that's a thing. But again, she's trying to understand her feelings and who she is as a person. And then as we go to Jeff later, when he talks to Marcel, the man, after he talks to Marcel, the man who lost his son in the shootout, that caused Jen to get cut and Lynn to get shot, and descend in like a vampire from a 1997 movie. Like I get the serum she taken was to acquire Wendy's wind power, aerokinesis power. I get it. But when she came with this motherfucker, like, oh, I was done. But that shootout caused the death of a young black man who was living in his car with his family because of why they couldn't find a place because of rent. But Jefferson, after talking to the father and hearing all that, is talking about his feelings and how he's finally openly accepting his feelings. Again, something we didn't hear. And the doctor calls him something that he says he never even heard his wife call him, and that's natural. And I want to stop there, and that's a testament to a lot of men in general when it comes to therapy. There's a lot of things men don't hear. They're being natural. They're being themselves, not anyone else, not trying to appropriate anybody else within making themselves, not trying to acclimate themselves to anywhere else as far as changing themselves, but also appreciation, thanks, wantingness, love. There's certain things men don't hear all the time that are just, words of affirmation that many want to hear. And especially when it comes to black men, that's a whole nother level of what we don't hear. We don't hear sometimes how we appreciate it just for being, for what we do, for what we try to do, what we attempt to do, what our efforts are. Yes, and there are differences in those things. And yes, I do know that. How much we're wanted, loved, and appreciated. Black women don't hear the same as well. The whole list goes on and on. But to see this being an open topic of discussion in this episode, again, is very, very much appealing to me. I also want to go back, the encounter with Tobias and Jefferson. And Tobias says one of those things that is so cliche to me personally. I don't know about you guys watching, but it's when he says, I'm going to take away each and everything you love. It's so cliche to hear the villain tell the main antagonist here, our protagonist tell that. The main villain tell our main hero that. It's so cliche. And I mean, I get it works. It works. Because I'm always driven back to season 2 of Arrow when Slade tells Oliver that in The Promise. I'm always going back to that. But to find out that Tobias is shock-proof and all the other shit, it's like, okay. Also, I got to talk about the fact Tobias has his own Alexa named Katie, which I felt like, I was like, oh, we was just throwing out names now, huh? What's her name? Katie. And the dude that's with him is named Red. I was like, oh, is this another iteration of Victor Zsasz? That was the first thing that came to my mind. Is this another iteration of him? Because we just brought in Victor Zsasz in Batwoman. We've used Victor Zsasz in Birds of Prey, and Victor Zsasz is a very popular Batman DC character. So I was like, oh, is this another Victor Zsasz? But it's not. So that's what that is. I got some more notes I wrote down. Anissa's working at the college with her mother, and she's working with one of the doctors named Darius. And after they're done for the day, Darius is like, "Yo, you want to go get a drink or something? Just go hang out and chill." And she was like, "Hey, bro, you good looking, charming. I'm gonna cut you off at the knees. I'm gay." And my man was like, "Hey, I'm just trying to get to meet people in a new town. Like, yo, like I get it, Anissa, you in love. But why is it every time a man is like, hey, would you like to go get a drink and just have something to drink or just talk?" I don't, and the reason I say that is because this is what we see in television. We see the situation of the guy asking the woman to go get something to drink, and it's always assumed to be for a potential encounter, romantic encounter to lead to sexual, if you will. Why is it like, yo, man, look, I'm trying to just go get a drink. You trying to go hang? Why can't it just be that? I don't know how many times we've seen it in the inverse. I've never personally seen it, so I'm not saying it doesn't exist, but I've never seen the inverse, a woman just like, yo, can we just go get a drink or something after work? And it's just, they do it, and then like nobody has any type of potential motives behind it. And at first Anissa says no, because of course she says she's gay and whatnot, but she's, she still has her love for Grace and everything, but she was also going to see Grace and stay with Grace in the room for the evening. And she goes to Grace's room, and Grace is shapeshifted to a leopard. She was like, can't do this shit tonight, Jesus. I don't blame her. I don't blame her. You see so much though, again, to see Anissa holding on in the conversation with Darius. Darius talks about how he lost his son, and after a while, learning how to let go when there's nothing you can do. Is this going to be a catalyst for Anissa to eventually let Grace go? But Grace wakes up and then try to recoup and rekindle anything, because we all are on the Thunder Grace bandwagon, right? As people have shipped them on social media. But are we not seeing the possibility of Anissa saying, I'm going to move forward? Now, again, Anissa says she's gay, and we've seen it with different women in the show. That's fine. It doesn't have to be with dude. Or she just slips up, be with dude, whatever. But does she be with somebody else for the moment, is what I'm saying. And then Anissa wakes up. Does she finally hear that in that discussion she has with him about how you have to eventually move on? Does she hear what Jennifer said in the last episode? You know, things like that. I wonder a lot. Also, to see more Blackbird, we're seeing in here how she designates the area where the young man got shot when he was living in the car with his family, how that's the now Blackbird zone, so that the homeless in Freeland can live there in peace for those who are trying to get themselves together. And that's when they have to come back and go home, and they're sleeping in cars and whatnot. And, you know, she kidnaps Lala and kidnaps Destiny, and they, you know, come to the agreement of, okay, like, cool. Also, we find out that Lady Eve is running the Cobra Cartel. Jill Scott, please bring back Jilly from Philly, which I think she is coming back. I can't remember exactly what happened at the end of season 3. I got to recheck it. Some people might be familiar more so, because I didn't watch it. I just watched episode and then recorded this the first time and messed up and did it the second time. So here we are. But also to watch Jefferson snapping out. Like, Jefferson's reckless. We thought he was at Reckless episode 1. But then when in this one, and when he's trying to find out who is the dude that shot the kid that killed him, he tells Gamby to find him. Gamby stands up to him and says no. And Jefferson is like, oh. He's appalled because Gamby's never stood in his way to exact some form of justice, if you will. Gamby has always been this right on to Jefferson. I got you. But Gamby sees how reckless and how dangerous Jefferson can be to not just himself, to others, and is like, no. And so Jefferson goes ahead and calls TC and has TC pull it up for him. So he gets there, starts electro punching dude in the face, and then tells dude, you're going to turn yourself into the police. I was like, cool, he ain't finna cripple my man. He said, but when you go there, you going on crutches, and breaks dude's leg. Like, damn. I think, again, will we come to a situation in the season where Brother Shakur realizes Jefferson is Black Lightning and has to take him down, if you will? And also, with a DEG, and I'm so upset about this because I was hoping in my heart of hearts that DEGs, because I don't know if they said it in season 3. Maybe I missed it. Please forgive me if I did. But I was hoping in my heart that DEG stood for something really distinct and unique, and not what it stands for, in direct energy guns. I was like, what? I mean, it is to the point. I get it, but But all in all, I am with this. It's hard to watch some of this and not foreshadow inevitable dark endings for people, knowing it's the final season. Granted, yes, the Painkiller series will go on, but let me let people know this right now. Do not expect all the characters in the Black Lightning world to appear in that. The Painkiller series will be its own thing, should it go forward and get picked up and whatnot, whatever the case may be. So, just want y'all to know that. But I want to know what you think in those comments below, all right? So go ahead and like, subscribe, click on the notification bell, and let me know, are you still rocking with it? What are your theories for how this season may end up, and for some of our heroes in the show as well? Follow me on Twitter and Instagram. You see it below at Mr. J Washington. Check out the Mad Titan podcast everywhere you get your podcast from. I get you caught up on all the things happening in the Marvel and DC live action and cinematic universes. It's Barbershop Talk for Nerds. Come on in the convo. And every Tuesday and Thursday, Blurs in the Hood with myself and Winston A. Marshall over on both our YouTube and Twitch channels. That's youtube.com and twitch.tv/Blurs in the Hood. BLERDS, the letter NTHEHOOD. All right. Holla at y'all next week for episode 3. Take care. I'm out.